Would you like to have your query letter critiqued, but you don't want to pay to have that happen? It can be done for free, but it will be public out here on all my socials. My name is Jean. I'm an author, editor, publishing professional. I help you make your writing better. Information on how to submit will be at the end, but let's keep in mind that there is a real live person on the other side of this query, and they want us to be constructive, not destructive, because feedback is always difficult to hear. Nobody tell them to just self-publish. That's not how any of this works, so let's jump in. I'm excited to learn that you're currently seeking YA stories, and I'm thrilled to submit my YA contemporary romance novel, Undesirable. Complete at 90,000 words, captures the enemies to lovers essence of Pride and Prejudice and the emotional depth of the song Iris from the Goo Goo Dolls. Okay, I'm going to pause right there. I'm thrilled to submit my YA contemporary romance novel. We don't need the word novel in there. I don't know, I'm excited to learn that you're seeking YA, and so I'm submitting YA. It feels a little redundant, feels a little bit wordy. Enemies to lovers, essence of Pride and Prejudice. That's great. That is very much not the only enemies to lovers that is out there, and that book is like 210 years old. That's great that we're bringing Pride and Prejudice into the YA space, but there are also like hundreds of YA retellings of Pride and Prejudice. I recommend updating that. And I know that you're using this as a pitch rather than comp titles. I see what you are doing differently here, but there just are hundreds and hundreds of YA Jane Austen updates and retellings. There's lots and lots of enemies to lovers stories out there. You've got something better than this. And then the depths of the song Iris Goo Goo Dolls, not the movie that inspired that song. Like, we have this song only exists because Johnny Resnick saw City of Angels and it broke him out of his writer's block, right? So the song is the emotional depth of the movie. So we're doing kind of a weird combo here, and I don't think they're doing anything for you. All right, content warnings. I know that I said in a video at some point in the past that you should, that I was pro content warnings in query letters. I misspoke in that video, and I will probably spend the rest of my days correcting this because that was not unnecessary. Trigger warnings, content warnings, if you're going to use them, they can be helpful at the synopsis point in the querying, but that is not even totally necessary. Agents, unless they ask for specific trigger warnings, they don't need them the same way that readers do. They are going in and doing this like they're reading purposefully. Now, they're not going to say oh gosh, you included trigger warnings, that's so dumb. No, they're this will still be appreciated, but you do not need to do this. This is not necessary. And if you are choosing your story elements appropriately, you're probably going to convey what the tone of the novel is, and so people are going to know what to expect anyway. All right, Briar Bennett was 13 when she was in an accident that killed her dad and left her mentally and physically scarred. That's backstory. Now she's 17, jaded and feeling completely alone aside from her childhood best friend Josh. This is world building. But when a smoking hot new guy arrives who knows nothing about her past or the scars she keeps hidden, she's wary but hopeful. This could be a friendship that isn't based on pity. This could even be something more. Too bad their first meeting is a mess and their second one is even worse. You've got world building, you've got backstory stuff. None of this belongs in the query letter. And you can see behind me, this is a really long query letter. I think it was 550 words. It's just too wordy. All right, so Luke Bowen has it all. Looks, grades, money, and any girl he wants. Due to his parents' divorce, he just moved across the province to a small town where his cousin Josh lives. Making friends is easy, especially now that his perfectionist father isn't breathing out. So again, backstory, world building. His only problem is Josh's beautiful but stuck-up best friend who never gave him a chance to redeem himself after his bad first impression. Even worse, he can't shake the feeling that he's met her before. So again, and if you're using Pride and Prejudice as an update here, you don't need to tell us the meat cute for Pride and Prejudice. Or you don't need to give us this is how this story was set up, this story that has been around forever and is a classic that everybody has read and has read a bunch of retellings of and seen a bunch of movies of. You don't have to tell us the plot of that story. Briar and Luke keep running into each other at school, so it's hard to avoid each other, especially when they're forced to sit next to each other in class and they're both on the volleyball team. This is just too many details. But after one drunken kiss and a rescue from a date goes wrong, they realize they both had been too stubborn and prideful to give each other a real chance. Luke finds out that Briar was his first love who helped him overcome it. What do we mean by love? He didn't recognize her, didn't know her. Come on. Overcome a nervous stammer when he was a child, now finds himself falling in love with her all over again, but Josh is protective of Briar and makes it clear she's off limits since he knows Luke has a history of being a player. Okay, but they're 17. How much history can we have? How much time has really passed since they were this now feels really confusing, and maybe this is confusing now. Briar starts to develop feelings for Luke after they witness a motorcycle accident that triggers her PTSD, and he goes above and beyond to comfort and take care of her. Briar tries to deny her feelings. So this is all plot summary. We're not getting stakes. We're not getting anything that's at risk. We're not getting any of that stuff. This is just plot summary. This sounds like you wrote a 2-page synopsis and then like tried to trim it down to make it a single-page synopsis, which is not what a query letter is. Briar tries to deny her feelings because she genuinely believes no one could ever love her with her baggage. Luke has to convince Josh that his feelings for Briar are genuine, otherwise he'll miss his chance with her, but that's easier said than done. He has to overcome her insecurities, otherwise she'll never be able to accept being loved by someone else. And then we've got author bio. So we never got any true comp titles. This is just too long, and we don't have stakes in here. This is a plot summary. This is not a query letter. This is also just overly wordy. It tells me that this makes it look like you didn't do any research about publishing, about the market. This makes it look like you wrote a story and didn't do anything beyond that as far as research goes. So let's talk about those 5 questions. So who is our main character? That is Briar and Luke together. What is it that they want? You said that it was a romance, but you never show in here that that's what they actually want. In fact, they both kind of want the opposite of that. What are they willing to do to get it? Don't know. What is standing in their way? Their own pride and prejudice, right? And then what happens if they fail? Also missing from here. So you have given us a summary. You have not given us stakes. You also have summarized a plot that we're already pretty intimately familiar with. I recommend writing an actual query letter. Give us real comps, give us an understanding, and demonstrate that you understand the market and that you understand your place in it. If you would like to submit to have your query letter critiqued like this, the information on how to do so is in my bio. There is a link in my link tree that says submit to the query critique. If you do not want to do this publicly, but instead want to go through my editing service, we do 3 rounds of editing back and forth. There is a link to my website so you can inquire about prices over there, or you can see what my prices are over there. And if you do not want to wait for either of those things, I have a class that is available on my Patreon and on TikTok. It is $30 no matter where you buy it, and it is 3.5 hours of content in which I teach you the entire querying process, including like how to navigate some tricky etiquette situations, and I give you before and afters of clients who I have worked with and shown you the process of their letters that they went on to sign with literary agents or with publishers.